Hey, and welcome to my Ghost of Tsushima review. Here's why its story of wholesome revenge is exactly what our little lockdown lives need right now. It is a story about revenge, but it has such a different vibe to other games. Like, yeah, you can get a little bit shadier as the game goes on, but you're never quite screaming whilst covered in blood and pus running through a line of enemies like a drunken raging bull at a Black Friday sale. Whilst The Last of Us had us rapidly climbing buildings to get our pound of flesh before realising that actually maybe, after all, we're probably vegetarian.
Slit their throats and kill them without a sound.
Without honor, I will not break my code.
It's much more pleasant than that. Every strike is like a dance. A fluid and dangerous set of steps preordained before time began with one final end goal to end your adversary in a glorious dance of death. Bit like XOYO at 3 a.m, but with less drug-induced permagrins. And then, think about the end of suffering option. I mean, The Last of Us has the same thing, but it's usually with a blood-splattering foot stomp. I mean, I guess if we had a sword, it would seem a bit more poetic. But shamblers are people too. Doesn't being a grotesque, mutated, post-human beast seem like suffering? I mean, have they done tests to check? How do we know Janice from accounts isn't still in there, just trying to get a hug because she's sad? There are 100% some Karens in that game. I mean, some of the bloaters definitely have the relentless vibe of someone trying to get a manager's attention. Everywhere and everything seems dramatic with the right music. And these guys have got their Spotify Samurai playlist down. The lack of HUD adds to this level of immersion so you can kind of fully take it all in, roaming the glorious countryside with the wind as your only friend.
Shut up, wind!
I think it's great that Sucker Punch have factored in everything that's been happening in recent days to allow for some social distancing within the game. Sometimes you can actively keep your 2-meter distance from people by having a standoff, which plays out like a respectfully distanced fishing game of sorts. Wait till the water bobs and pulls and then slice the face off your opponent. The good thing about this is you're limiting the time spent when you could be spreading COVID to your enemy, which is respectful. I mean, he's dead now because you killed him. But should he have survived, at least he won't have to worry about infecting his family. And really, family is what this game is all about.
My brother. The Mongols took him.
That's why you saved me.
Taka is my only family.
And Lord Shimura is mine.
Please, I just want my brother back.
I'll help you find him after I save my uncle.
Family! As we've been locked indoors for what seems like a literal age, as well as only being 5 minutes, which is probably a time signifier that something is very, very wrong with the space-time continuum, but who has actual time to worry about that when there's just so much great stuff on Netflix right now? I mean, have you seen Formula 1 Drive to Survive yet, or The Last Dance? Well, don't argue till you watch them. Anyways, as we feel our lives are being wasted away by walled containment, it's nice to actually go outside and remember that life is okay. Unfortunately, there are some people who think this is all some kind of conspiracy theory and think fabric masks are some sort of oppression, which just goes to show how much actual oppression they've experienced in their lives. So sometimes you just don't want to go outside because, well, people are morons. So Ghost provides us with one of the most glorious escapes of modern COVID living by taking us into a world so beautiful, it almost makes you want to weep. Think 4K Legend of Zelda grade glowing majestic sweeping hills that cause your heart to burst and swell a little whilst you run around like a loon trying to take it all in. This leads me to the next great thing that Ghost has to offer, which will mean your gameplay experience will be extended by a nonsensical amount of hours. The camera mode. Yes, there is a story, but let me get my Chris Nolan first time with an IMAX camera swooping over Batman to the point you give people partial vertigo in the cinema vibe. That. Times like 100. I think at one point I'd actually done more directing than samuraiing. It's been a tough few months for everyone. Being stuck indoors, even with great games, is starting to test our patience as we kind of start to lose our shit at inanimate objects for no reason, or like burst into tears because we can't decide what takeaway to get. Ghost brings us some comfort in the fact that the toughest decision I had to make was which horse to pick. Which actually ended up being much harder than all just agreeing to, fuck it, let's just get a 12 box of Krispy Kremes. I said to no one else because I'm alone. That one's cute. But okay, well that one's also cute. And this is... What did the... That... I like him. Oh. Forever seems like a really long... Are you sure we can't switch the... I guess... What? Right after you pick your horse, though, Ghost throws you another of its toughest decisions right away. Those bastards, don't they know we have enough stress on our plates?
Needs a name.
What are you going to call your horse? This also adds in a little bonus learning of the Japanese language. I chose my horse name as it's also the name of a really good, albeit moderately expensive sushi restaurant that I've been to. I did not know that it also meant trust. Which kind of makes sense where sushi is concerned. I mean, you don't want some that's been just living in someone's paddling pool in their back garden. Kids pee in that, and you can't tell me that's not going to affect the fish flavour.
It has been some time since I trained on a bamboo stand.
I would be honored to see your blade in action.
Okay, it is a rhythm-based action game, cunningly disguised within the game. But, to be honest, I was just really glad that all those hours I spent playing Jamalami finally paid off. It's a really non-transferable skill. Let me tell you, I've been looking. I don't think I've ever enjoyed the sound of blood and swords clashing quite so much as in this game. The Sucker Punch audio team have created a sonic banquet, a cacophony, if you will, of some incredible sounds for your ASMR pleasure. Should that be what you're into? Which is great, but you do kind of get some looks when you try to explain to your friends why you think the sound of squelchy blood right there was really delightful. It's hard to explain. Plus also, listen to the rain. It's much better than our actual rain, which sounds sad and not at all delightful. As a self-diagnosing lazy gamer sometimes who could hack and slash her way through an oddly large amount of games not designed to be played that way at all, Ghost's combat won't let me. No, it makes me think, to move with purpose, with certainty, and holy crap, woe betide the samurai who ignores the moment to block or dodge. Saying that, it was nice teaching me all this. Like, play the game the right way or you will die. But it's like a nice death with a cute respawn point, and moments that make you not be angry at them for it being their fault that you weren't playing their game in the right way and died. Also, the music reminds me of Fable, and that really calms my spirit. Also, side note, new Fable? Playing this game makes me think about the future. Like, what is the future of video games? Like, how can they be more immersive? Is it like haptic feedback, full VR suits in your home? Perhaps a new sense to be added by bringing in smell. I mean, it is the most powerful of all of our senses. And then I think back to The Last of Us 2, well, any of them, and I suggest that we don't ever agree to that ever. Those guys never shower, and even if they did, they don't wash their clothes, and even if they did do that, the stench from 20 plus years of congealed and fetid pools of rotting human cells of all kind would never, ever, ever, ever be washed out of your skin. So no. Ghost, on the other hand, accepts that bathing is an important part of not feeling like total crap all the time, and has some hot springs to wash off the blood of your enemies. At the very least, you could probably get a cheeky G&T to dull the screams of your bludgeoned foes when you want to get some shut-eye. See? Family! For those of you self-isolating without the comfort of an animal to calm your spirit, fear not. The game uses animals, well, that doesn't sound nice, to hint to you what else is going on in the world that you can't see, like in a kind of Ghibli-esque mini-adventure that means once more you don't have to use your map. It's cute following these animals around, and they seem totally into it. Just don't get too enamoured about being at one with nature and then go up to a boar as you think it might lead you to some kind of treasure or delicious hidden snack, because it won't. It will straight up attack you. Same goes for bears, who we all know where the good honey is stashed, but they won't tell us. Jerks. The main reason this game is the wholesome revenge tale for a locked down world is that it has the right ingredients to keep us entertained, as well as nourishing our souls too.
My lord. This path is dangerous.
The balance of pace is truly delightful, you know, these kind of sharp, spiky moments of choreographed combat, whilst then taking moments to sort of absorb life and actually really kind of find peace. You know, sitting in a hot springs or creating a haiku poem while staring at a sunset. I mean, geez. This is not something I would ever think that I would want in a game, but that kind of clear passion for the culture and its spirituality is really, really lovely to see. It's so warming. It sure as hell beats trying to meditate in your flat by a main road where the only traffic is basically trucks, ambulances, and a small yappy-type dog that will not, for any reason, stop barking ever. This voiceover took 8 years. These are some tough times, you know, and we are all going to get through this. Ghost of Tsushima is a really, really great way to spend your free time and feel the delight at experiencing a different culture and a time to your own. With its beauty, poise, and solid narrative plotline, it really is the wholesome revenge our lockdown saddened souls really need right now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please click like and subscribe, and maybe at some point I'll get off my arse and make some more content.
Such an improvement.
I don't know, maybe.
Surely we will triumph over our enemies.
I feel ready to take on the whole Mongol army. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.